welcome to Live Interactive English. My name is Winnie.
And I'm Mike.
Meow, 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 because today we are talking about how cats talk with their tails part 2. So Mike,
yes,
do you have any furry friends, particularly of the feline variety?
Oh, I do. Yes, I have a cat at home right now. I'm sure he's probably taking a nap.
Hopefully we can put a photo up.
I'll try to find one. You'd have to ask my wife. She's the cat photographer. I'm the cat scratcher. That's kind of my official job.
That's your job title.
That is my official job.
So not English teacher, not TV host.
No, that's
cat scratcher.
That's everything else I do just so I can engage in my cat scratching activities most of the time.
Got it.
I'm also the cat's heating pad.
It's not your heating pad.
No. I am his heating pad.
Oh, you'll love that, I bet.
So during the winter months, the cat is basically on me wherever I am, no matter what I'm doing. And I'm also his little chew toy. So we like to fight together. He likes to chew on my arm occasionally.
And you like to chew on his arm?
No, I don't. I'm not allowed to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, he's kind of the boss of me.
Got it.
You know. But it's nice. I like having I've had cats my whole life, basically, when I've been living at home, and they're wonderful. When they're not, throwing up or scratching your sofa or doing things like that.
Just like babies.
Absolutely. And knowing some of this stuff that we've been learning both yesterday and today, I have found personally to be very, very useful.
Right.
It's hard to find. There aren't a lot of cat behavior experts out there.
You're right.
Right? People know a lot more about dogs and training and working with dogs than they do with cats. Partly because cats, we've never really found a job for them.
You're right, yeah, that's true.
You can train cats, but it takes a lot more patience and a lot longer. But
so we won't be seeing bomb-sniffing cats at the airport?
I don't think so, no.
Well, as someone who doesn't have any cats, I am very excited to continue learning about an animal that I'm not, familiar with.
That's right. Yesterday we learned about the upright happy tail.
Or the low-hanging tail.
The wagging excited tail, or the low not happy tail. So let's find out more about tail positions and cats in part 2 of our article, How Cats Talk with Their Tails. A wagging tail. Like dogs, cats often wag their tails. However, unlike with dogs, tail wagging is not always a good sign. When a cat gently swings its tail, it means that it is happy and focused. If a cat is swinging its tail quickly, though, it shows that it is feeling upset, bothered, or even angry, and should be left alone. All right, so we're back with how cats talk with their tails. Let's look at another common position that you might see. This is a more mysterious one, a wagging tail.
They don't have walkie-talkies stuffed in their tails.
No, they don't do that.
No.
Definitely not. And they're not wagging like a dog tail will wag when it's happy. It's a little different.
Okay, so our first position of today is a wagging tail. And knowing, you hear wagging just like you said, usually in dogs. So it's swinging left to right.
Yeah.
And it's a joyous thing for dogs. Like dogs, cats often wag their tails. However, unlike with dogs, tail wagging is not always a good sign. When a cat gently swings its tail, it means that it is happy and focused. Whereas when it's when a dog is wagging their tail, they're just excited.
They're just happy and excited. That's right. So it's kind of a gentle wagging. It's more like kind of a swinging back and forth kind of motion, like that. But it's happening very gently. When we say something is happening gently, when we use this adverb, we mean in a very sort of smooth, relaxed, soft, graceful kind of way. It's not fast and aggressive and using a lot of power or force or happening very quickly. No, it's very soft, light, and that kind of thing. Here's a good example. The leaves gently moved in the wind. We can also talk about a gentle breeze. If you're at the beach, a nice, soft sort of wind on your skin. It's not moving too quickly. It keeps you cool, but doesn't make you cold, and it's not blowing sand in your eyes.
Right.
That would be a gentle wind, or the wind is blowing gently. Of course, think about a storm or a typhoon. That would be a powerful wind or something like that. So gentle would be at the other end of the scale, very soft, not using a lot of energy or motion. So that's a nice sign. A little gentle swing of the tail is
They're
good.
Calm.
Very calm, yeah. If a cat is swinging its tail quickly, though, it shows that it is feeling upset, bothered or even angry and should be left alone. And it's not kind of like a dog, it's more like flicking it from side to side, kind of like that. It looks a little bit
So it doesn't look
unhappy.
like a okay. So it doesn't look like a dog's tail, which is like very energetic. Okay.
No, and the way it flicks it looks impatient. It looks kind of unhappy.
So it's got some attitude.
Yeah,
to it.
It's sort of like someone saying they're tapping their foot when they're waiting
when they're
for
annoyed.
you.
Okay.
They're not angry, but they're not happy.
Okay,
Definitely.
got it. So we had the word that you said, upset, and it is our adjective, and it means unhappy or something bothering you. So, for example, after he failed his exam, Fraser felt very upset. And so now we know when a cat fails their exam, they're just going to wag their tail in a very kind of flicky, annoyed way.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yes, cats often do fail their chemistry exams. It's true. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back with more.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天课程里学到猫咪尾巴竖起来和低垂时所代表的意思。那么下一个要介绍的是 a wagging tail， 摇尾巴。那么猫和狗一样都会经常摇尾巴，不过和狗不一样的是，猫咪摇尾巴不一定都是好的迹象哦。当它轻轻摆动尾巴时，意味着它很高兴而且专注。可是如果是快速摆动尾巴的话，表示它感到不安、受到打扰，甚至是生气。这时候就不该吵它了。那在讲到这个快速摆动尾巴的时候 ，Mike 老师他有用到 flick。F-L-I-C-K，flick 可以表达迅速的摆动或者是轻弹轻甩。那么课文单字 gently 这个副词表示轻轻地、温柔地。Upset 则是描述不开心的、心烦意乱的。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，这边我们来学习 leave somebody or something alone， 这表示不打扰、不干涉、不惹什么什么。leave 的动词三态是 leave, left, left。举例来说 ，Stop making fun of your sister, just leave her alone。别再取笑你姐姐，不要烦她了。那再看个例句是 Most dogs don't like to be left alone。大多数的狗不喜欢独处。那句中的 be left alone 这是被动用法，指的是不受打扰。好，接回课文中。
A question mark tail. As humans, we often greet each other by waving. However, since cats can't wave, they rely on their tails. When they are feeling friendly and social, they stick their tails up and bend the tips into the shape of a question mark. When a cat does this, you are free to approach and play with it. In fact, it wants you to. If you own a cat, you will know how important the animals can be to our lives. By observing cats and their expressive tails more closely, we can strengthen the connection that we have with our furry family members.
Welcome back from the break. As we learned in our first part, when you see a cat sort of gently wagging its tail, you know, you should feel nice, and then everyone should be very calm. But once that flicking motion kind of comes and it gets a little bit more impatient, that's when you should probably give the cat some space. And as a dog owner, I am very happy to have known that, because when you see a dog wagging its tail, you're thinking, I'm doing a good job. I'm throwing the ball, giving him a treat. But it's not the same for a cat.
No, that's definitely not. And when it's flicking it like that kind of quickly, that is definitely an unhappy cat. It kind of just wants you to leave it alone.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. It won't attack you. It's just like, okay, go away.
Give me some space.
I need a nap. All right, let's look at another common cat tail position you might see. A question mark tail. Yeah, so it's kind of curled over like that, kind of like a question mark or half a heart, if you think about it, kind of that same kind of shape. So what's that question mark when it's kind of curled over on itself? It says, as humans, we often greet each other by waving. Hi. However, since cats can't wave, they rely on their tails.
Ah, interesting. Okay, so a dog sniffs your butt.
Yes, not mine, but other dogs.
But a cat just gives you half a heart.
It gives you half a heart.
That's so nice.
There you go. Yeah, so it can't rely on waving its arms or doing things like that. When you rely on something, this verb means you depend on something, you need something, you find it very, very useful and a big part of your life. All right, you can probably live without it, but the way you live your life or the way you like to do things means you like that thing, you need that thing, you depend on that thing. You trust that it will always be there, and you might even hope that it will always be there. For example, I can't drive, so I rely on buses and trains to get everywhere. And if suddenly the train system or the bus system stops working, you're going to be in trouble since you rely on it.
Right, so always have a backup plan. And
rely on your friends to drive you to work.
Oh, you have really nice friends then. So continuing on with the article, when they are feeling friendly and social, they stick their tails up and bend the tips into the shape of a question mark, or as Mike so lovingly labeled it, as half of a heart. Yes. So when a cat does this, you are free to approach and play with it. In fact, it wants you to, and I wish I had known this question mark detail when I was 6 years old and approaching a cat that had probably a very fast flicking tail.
Very flicky tail, not a half a heart tail.
Thought it was a dog, you know? Just welcome, but no, it wasn't. It was get away from me. It's actually brushing you away, huh?
It is kind of brushing you away, exactly. That is a life lesson to remember. If you own a cat, or you just don't like to be bitten by cats, if you own a cat, you will know how important the animals can be to our lives. Cats, of course, give us great comfort and love and affection, and they're always there to sit on our lap and eat our food. By observing cats and their expressive tails more closely, we can strengthen the connection that we have with our furry family members, or at least make them less mysterious and a bit easier to understand. Kind of like a teenager.
Kind of like a teenager, because every time you see a cat, you just don't know what they're thinking.
What are they thinking, and why are they on TikTok all the time?
They're just scrolling with their tails. So we have our verb, observe.
Yes.
To see or notice something, which I wish I had observed that cat's very vicious tail, because then I wouldn't have gotten scratched and formed a very valid fear of kittens and cats since then.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. But I'm growing into it. I love cats now.
Good. Now you know more too.
Yeah, now
right?
I know how to communicate with them.
Power.
Exactly. So in our example, we have I observed an accident on the other side of the street. So it's something that you saw, something you noticed. Okay. And now that I can observe all the different cat signals with their tails, I think that way I can, avoid making a cat uncomfortable or angry, or if they need help.
Okay, and those are all good things, and they can definitely give you more confidence in your dealings with cats, either your own or friends or just ones you happen to run into.
Exactly.
We also had the adjective expressive, talking about how cats can be expressive using their tails because they're not really expressive in other ways, like dogs, for example. But if something is or someone is expressive, that means they are showing their emotions in a very clear and easily understood way. If you tell me some wonderful news and I go, that's really great, I'm really happy, I've never been happier in my life, you're not really getting the feeling of what I'm saying because my face is not being very expressive in the way that my words are.
I would think you're not happy for me.
No, I look very unhappy or bored, or I just don't care. But no, I do. I really am excited. I'm super happy. But yes, if you want to be an actor, you might need to have an expressive face. Clowns often wear that funny makeup to make their faces more expressive, so their smiles are bigger, their eyes are bigger, and things like that. So it basically means you're showing your emotions in some kind of way. For example, Aaron has a very expressive face. You can always tell what he is thinking.
Right, or you could be expressive with your body. In this case, cats are expressive with their tails. Actually, most animals are. So what do you think, Mike? How do other animals show their emotions? As we've talked about a little bit, we've talked about cats. We've also talked about dogs. They use their, they can't tell us what they're feeling, but they can show us with their tails.
That's true. Let's see, another way an animal might show their emotion, I think by their body position too, right?
Yep.
If animals are trying to turn their bodies, make themselves look bigger, they might look dangerous, but they're probably afraid. They're just trying to pretend that they're being scary and big and they're about to attack.
So a defense mechanism.
They probably just want you to leave them alone.
Well, I have a great example of one. I mean, we often see maybe in the King Kong movies, or when we're talking about gorillas or apes, you know, they bang on their chest to kind of show, don't mess with me.
No, I definitely won't. Yeah. Especially if it's King Kong.
Oh, if it's King Kong, you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
You can't even outrun him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you do want to avoid the angry gorilla beating chest situation.
Yes. I mean, we often occur, you know, that occurs in our everyday, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. No.
Yeah. But at least I, as a dog owner, learned a little bit about how to coexist with a cat or a feline friend.
Good. All right. So that's helpful for you. And if you ever get cats in the future, you will have a much better insight into what they are thinking and feeling. Thanks for joining us, guys. Take care of yourselves and all our furry friends. We'll see you back here sometime soon. Until then, curved heart tail, curved question mark tail.
Meow.
Bye.
下一个要介绍的是 a question mark tail， 打问号的尾巴。人类常常会用挥手方式来彼此打招呼。那由于猫不能挥手，它们就依靠尾巴。当它们感到友好，想要社交的时候，就会把尾巴竖起来，然后把尾端弯曲成问号的形状。当你看到猫这样做的时候，可以随意的接近它，跟它玩。那么在讲到打招呼的时候 ，Winnie 老师有提到狗狗它们好像会互相闻屁屁嘛，那我们可以补充一下 sniff 这个动词 ，sniff，sniff 就是嗅或是闻的意思。再看到单字 rely 是动词，表示依靠、信赖。我们可以用片语动词 rely on somebody or something 去表达仰赖、依靠某人或某事物。好，那么课文最后提到，如果你有养猫，就会知道它们对我们的生活可能有多重要。借由更仔细的观察猫咪以及它们具有表达力的尾巴，我们就可以强化跟这些毛小孩的联系了。补充一下 ，Mike 老师刚刚有用到 insight。insight insight 表示深刻见解、洞见或是洞察力。那么单字 observe 它是动词，表示观察、观测、注意到。而 expressive 是形容善于表达的、表情丰富的。另外 Winnie 老师最后有聊到大猩猩捶胸的行为，然后还有提到动物的防卫机制。他说的 gorilla 就是大猩猩 ，defense mechanism 则表示防卫机制。好，这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。这边我们来学习 be free to 加上原形动词，是指可随意随时做某事，那用来表示准许，请别人不用拘谨，不用客气。而 free 在这边就是当形容词来表达自由的、不受拘束的，像是 You're free to choose any seat you like， 你可以随意选择任何你喜欢的座位。那比较一个用法是 free 也可以表达摆脱什么的、无什么什么的。那 be free of something 或者是 be free from something 则是表达没有免于什么什么，像是Imagine a world that is free from pollution. 想象一个没有污染的世界，这该有多好啊！好，那么以上的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
A wagging tail. Like dogs, cats often wag their tails. However, unlike with dogs, tail wagging is not always a good sign. When a cat gently swings its tail, it means that it is happy and focused. If a cat is swinging its tail quickly, though, it shows that it is feeling upset, bothered, or even angry, and should be left alone. A question mark tail. As humans, we often greet each other by waving. However, since cats can't wave, they rely on their tails. When they are feeling friendly and social, they stick their tails up and bend the tips into the shape of a question mark. When a cat does this, you are free to approach and play with it. In fact, it wants you to. If you own a cat, you will know how important the animals can be to our lives. By observing cats and their expressive tails more closely, we can strengthen the connection that we have with our furry family members.
Hinoki Village, located in Chiayi City, has a lot of roots in Japanese culture because it used to have dorms, which is short for dormitories, for Japanese people working in the wood or timber industry. By the way, if you hear the word lumber, it just means harvested wood or wood that has been cut into pieces for other uses. So let's find out more about this village and why it has a Japanese name, shall we? Hinoki Village is a popular attraction near North Gate Station in Chiayi City. It not only keeps the historic buildings and culture, but also promotes the local assets and education. During the Japanese colonial period, this place was dormitories for loggers, lumber industry managers, and dependents. Because most of the houses were built with cypress wood, it was called Hinokicho. In Hinokicho, there was also a public bathhouse and a hostel. Hinokicho went through renovations after it had been situated here for over 60 years. After a 4-year renovation, Hinokicho was revived and had a new name, Hinoki Village. This place not only is the first forestry village in Taiwan, but also has the largest, most well-preserved group of Japanese-style dormitories. The Chiayi City government listed the dormitories as a historic building in 2005. In Hinoki Village, there are many Japanese-style wooden buildings. Now, the village includes a market for arts and crafts, restaurants, and the Mori Market. You can visit the exhibition halls, rent yukata, and try some tasty snacks. When walking in Hinoki Village, you can learn about how prosperous Taiwan's forestry used to be and experience the Japanese-style atmosphere. It's so cool to be able to still see well-preserved buildings from history still intact. The Chiayi City government has really put in a lot of effort to preserve them, and I think that definitely warrants a visit to Hinoki Village.